Hello, I'm Crystal, and I thought it might be helpful to provide a short video on how to create folders for your 3-part cards. If you're doing Montessori at home or in a classroom, you'll know that you will collect many sets of 3- and 4-part cards in time. But how to present them, how do we keep them looking beautiful, and how can we make them easy to get to for the child and something that they want to come back to time and time again. So here is just one example of how I do it at home. If you know anything about 3-part cards, they do have lots of parts. There's three parts usually, and then as they get to elementary, you get a 4th element, the descriptions. So in this one you can see I've got different types of biomes with their labels stuck on. Pictures only. Over here we have a little pocket for the labels. And inside here we have beautiful descriptions. You can see I've done the descriptions here in a Q font, a Queensland handwriting font that I downloaded so that my daughter could help to become familiar with cursive writing. So they all tucked in neatly there, and even if you're just using 3 sections, you could have them over here. You could use either side, or you could split them between the areas if there were many cards. Maybe I can show you an example. Okay, here's another one that I did a while ago. My daughter is now 5, but back when she was 3, she was using ones that were laminated. I used to laminate all of the cards that we had so that they were more user-friendly and didn't get broken. Now they're all in one pocket and they do fit here quite neatly. They're just in these 2 pockets. But if you had lots of cards in a set, you might even want to spread them out so that you have a few on the other side, or like that. So they've got 2 sides, or even split up the labels. You've got 4 pockets, so it's quite flexible. So you can see these ones that I used to create have elastic around them. That helps to hold it all together, particularly if they're made of slippery laminate, and they can tend to move around a lot in the pockets. But now that Dee Dee's a bit older, just use the pocket without a binder or without an elastic around it. It still does quite well in keeping it all in. So moving right along as to how to make this, you'll need a scrapbooking page. You can get these pages, colourful pages. They're about 30 by 30 centimetres or 12 by 12 inches from your local craft store, or you could get it from a bookstore, some newsagents, and specialty art shops. They come in a range of different colours. If anyone's done any scrapbooking, you'd just be amazed at how many different varieties there are. And there's just as much variety in the colours as there are in the prices. Some of them come in huge packs where you might be able to get them for a discount. Usually would have a similar theme in a pack, which can be helpful too if you're doing a whole range of ones. For example, I used a pack of different nature themed scrapbooking ones for our parts of a plant, parts of stem, parts of fruit. I used all similar kinds of paper from the same pack to do those, and it worked out quite effective. Really beautiful looking. So this is a world theme one, this might be suitable for a geography pack. I try not to get ones that match exactly to the kind of thing that's going to be inside. That would be quite difficult. I use patterns that will give an, I guess, kind of just in the same vicinity or the same kind of thing as what the child is looking at. So this is world biomes, and it's got a map of the world. So I've used that one for that. So you'd also need some sticky tape. Any kind of tape is fine. I'd say washi tape is probably not that good, but anything that's very sticky. And also use probably a label maker. That's what I use nowadays. If you have some beautiful scrapbooking labels, then you can use those also. That's quite effective. These stickers came in my pack. Or you could also use your own Avery labels, would be effective too. And finally, if you wanted to have your packs closing, you'll need some lengths of this very stringy elastic, which you can buy from a haberdashery store or maybe even some beauty stores. I bought this from a local beauty store, kind of like a Priceline if you're in Australia. I'm not sure where you could buy this, but probably from Spotlight or any of those haberdashery kind of stores. You don't need much for each one, just about as much as you'd use to make 2 hair elastics. So let's get about to folding. Usually you would start out with your 3-part cards as a guide. So for example, this one pack has the largest ones being the description. So you'll turn it around to the opposite side to see which way you want facing up. So this is the one I want facing up. I'm going to turn it over, place the cards towards the top, here or there anywhere, just to get a guide of how much space I need. I need a little gap at the top just to make sure they're not going to fall out. They're going to be safe and secure once they're folded inside. So now that I've got that there, I can use that as a guide marker with my fingers. I'm going to fold up the page as far as it goes until I can feel that bottom there tucking in neatly into the fold. You can feel it tucking in neatly. I'm lining up this side. I'm going to fold and press hard, making a hard crease. I can remove this aside now while I continue making the rest of the pockets. Now that it's folded up, I'm going to bring this down, the top side down, not to the bottom, but further. I'm going to fold it so that there's a little pocket here, about a third the way up the back side. So if I stick this inside now, you can see that it's tucked in neatly, and it's still got a bit of room here. About half of it is pointing up. I'm going to fold this, lining it up neatly both sides. Going to fold it, and then the bottom I'm going to fold up and have these 2 folds meeting exactly. They're going to be exactly on top of each other. Once I've got that right, I can start to smooth those edges, pushing down hard, make them exact. Now that little extra bit there, I deliberately didn't cut that off because I find that makes a nice little edging. Instead of that hard or sharp edge of the page there, it can help for the small fingers if there is a smoother edge there. So I just neatly and carefully fold it over. And once it's in place and looks nice, then I'm going to really push it down. I use the back of my fingernail there, or the top of my fingernail, to slide along and make sure it's nice and sharp there. Nice, good fold. Now that that's done, can you see on the inside that beautiful colour? The back colour of the scrapbooking paper is also visible. Really looks nice inside. And I like the back of the lip on these ones too. Let me just check the brand. This is called American Crafts. Looks like this is a really good brand. I've used a lot of these and they have put a lot of thought into the design. Now all we need to do is simply fold it in half. When it's in place, really fold it down. That's the back and that's the front. Get our sticky tape, scotch tape, as some people call it, and we're going to tape the edges now. This is to secure the pockets in place and also to make the edges more durable. So I'm going to roughly measure it out. Most important thing is to get these folds covered at the bottom. So after making your folder and putting on your elastic, if that's what you're going to do, you'll be wanting to stick on your label. You can put your label at the top, as what some people do, particularly if you're going to be standing it up on a table or using a book stand or other display stand or lying it flat. That might be the way to go. The way that we've set it up, we're using shoe boxes, and this is quite handy if you want to thumb through to find what you're after. You can see the labels at the top. I've put them fairly close to the spine so that I can see them clearly when I'm looking for them. My daughter can read the labels too then without having to pull them all out. It makes for easy archiving too, if you're going to be storing them all like this in a box. If you plan to reuse the folders for different cards, because I know with 3-part cards tend to go through them fairly quickly and moving on to the next set, you might want to have different kinds of labels, ones that you can easily remove, so that you can reuse the folders and archive the cards themselves in a different way, either in a folder with a file folder or something like that. Okay, so that's the end of the video. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to put them below, or you can go and visit my blog at WordPress, Montessori Learning Life. I'm Crystal, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.